Welcome back to the Barber Coach TV, and in this tutorial we will be covering how to shape and control a beard. Starting off, it's important to comb through the beard and the moustache, making sure that all the hair is detangled and moving into the direction of the shape of the beard, following the direction of hair growth. It's important to have a thorough consultation with your customer regarding how they like the beard to be cut. You need to find out if there's any skin conditions, if there's any issues with skin irritation, how they wear the beard, and their preferences before we then approach the cut. If the customer prefers to fade the beard into their hair, then we have to be careful not to take the lower guard too low and start compromising the jaw zone. So just in the diagram you can see there where the fade zone is, and then in this zone is where you connect the shorter guards to blend the beard into the hair above the ear. I'm starting with a 2 guard. I'm working against the grain, just tightening up the sides of that beard and just setting the foundation for the fade zone, which is the connecting zone between the hair and the lower part of the beard. Once that bulk and the thickness has been removed around the lobe, we'll then start working down with the 2 guard. This then removes any excess thickness from the outside of the beard, giving it a more controlled shape, allowing it to look tighter and smoother on the sides, but without then removing any length from the bottom fullness of the beard. Here you can see the angle of the clipper, the way that it needs to be directed, so that we don't accidentally cut the shape and the masculinity away from the beard by cutting it in towards the chin. We want to maintain a pulling away method, just like you would on a blend zone with the hair. We do the same, but upside down with the beard, pulling away as we come towards the jaw, maintaining a thicker, more masculine outline on the jaw zone then towards the base of the beard. Keep checking with the customer just to make sure they are happy with the hair removed and the current shape of the beard. We don't want to get carried away and then accidentally remove too much, so it's important to keep involving the customer. Once the beard is sitting smooth and in the required shape, we can work back up then into the fade zone, going against the grain, just to make sure that the beard and the fade zone are blended together. I'm now moving on to a 1 guard, and we're slightly opening it to a half, and this will allow us to shorten the beard from a 2 and working up shorter then towards the hair length required on the sides. I've now removed the guard and fully opened the lever to gradually start taking the fade zone part of the beard shorter just before the top of the ear. Here you can see the fade length process as it graduates shorter from 2 moving into a 1 and then to a no guard to create that darker to lighter contrast as it connects to the hairstyle on top. I am now refining the no guard part of the fade zone into the 1 part by using the corner of the clipper just to connect those 2 colour zones together. We're now moving on to the moustache, and with the moustache it's important that we can get in underneath the nose safely without irritating or injuring the customer. So this can be best applied by working down using a shorter guard. So I'm starting with a 1 guard and I'm going to be working down below the nostrils, coming in safely with the guard flat beneath the nose, and then moving the blade down towards the lip, removing any excess bulk and thickness from the top of the moustache. With this technique, it's important to keep your eye on the points of the guard. It's easy to poke the customer in the nose, as you can see in the video here, or to catch them on the nostril. So keep your eye on the positioning of that clipper, making sure that you're working safely but effectively. Once the excess weight has been removed from the moustache, we can then come underneath the moustache. So here I'm working on an angle and just tapering the edges, then working up against the grain, just flicking out and just removing then the length from above the lip. When connecting the moustache to the beard, on the outsides of the moustache, just below the lip, I'm being careful not to take it too tight towards the skin. So I'm not pressing the guard against the customer's skin or face. I'm just hovering through the bulk and just carving it into shape. With thicker beards, like this in the video, it's the same process cutting the hair below the lip as it is on the mustache. Working down allows you to maintain the shape but remove the bulk. If the customer requests that the hair below the lip goes a lot shorter, then we can take the clipper back against the grain, working upwards. But for shaping and smoothing the hair out, but without removing too much length, working down with the guards, hovering and carving through the hair is the technique needed. As seen in the first part of the video, we'll be following the same methods and techniques to replicate the shape and the thickness of the beard on the opposite side. Just following the same techniques and methods, applying the fade zone, starting with the 2-guard, removing the bulk, setting the shape, before then moving on to the mustache. I'm now going to be applying some heat to the beard with a hairdryer, making sure not to set it too hot. So medium heat and medium power with the airflow. I'm just going to comb through the beard with a heat above the comb from the hairdryer, just softening the hair. This will then open the cuticles and allow the hair to become more flexible. This will allow us to control the shape of the hair better, smoothing the beard out, showing us exactly then how it's going to be sitting for that customer. Make sure that all the hairs are detangled so we can be more accurate with the refining of the hair as we hover over with the clipper. This technique does take precision. You have to be careful. It needs accuracy, so you can't take your eyes off the clipper. You need to be focused on exactly where you're cutting, the shape and angle of the clipper, because this will determine the overall finish and look of the beard. And if you make a mistake here, you will mess up the whole beard. Just take your time, hover over, gliding through the hair, refining it and smoothing it, removing any excess hairs. It's now time to raise the headrests at the back of the chair and recline the customer's head to sit onto the headrest comfortably to make sure that there's no pressure on his neck, making sure that he's comfortable as we go to work underneath the chin line and to finish shaping the bottom of the beard as it connects to the neck. I use my middle finger as an anchor, resting it against the customer's neck, giving me more control and stability as I'm carving the beard into shape. There's a technique to finding the natural neckline. If you let the customer rest his head forward, holding it in a natural position looking forward, hold a comb up underneath his jaw, keeping it flat and pressed against the Adam's apple. This will then allow you to find the most natural neckline position to suit the customer's beard best. Once you've got the comb in position, you can then cut underneath the comb with the clipper to set that shape as a guideline before removing the rest of the neck hair. This is the most natural position, but if a customer has other preferences, then it's better to obviously go with what they'd prefer. But if they don't know what to choose, then by using this technique, you will allow them to find the position that best suits the beard. It may look repetitive, but I am being very thorough with making sure that the shape of the beard is clean and tapered nicely. This will make sure that it will grow out better and it will be more consistently shaped and will allow the customer's beard to hold this shape for longer. Once I've gone around all the edges with the clipper, and I'm using the clipper because it cuts through the thicker hair more easily, then I can move on to the trimmer to cut in the sharp outlines. When cutting in the beard line on the cheekbone, aim for the top lip as a guideline rather than the bottom lip. A lot of barbers make the mistake of cutting this cheekbone outline too low, damaging the overall shape of the beard, and then it causes the cheeks to look a lot bigger and it takes away that strong masculine square profile that the customer would be looking for. So aim for the top lip of the trimmer, working away from the beard towards the cheekbone rather than always working in towards the beard. This will reduce the risk of taking off too much hair and cutting this beard line too low. Always make sure you stick to the natural outlines. Yes, we have to cut into the beard slightly to make the outline and the shape up bolder, but sticking to the natural shape and outline will allow the beard then to hold its shape for longer. If we cut too far into the beard, regardless of how sharp it looks, it's not going to grow out very good and it's not going to last very long for the customer. Now that the beard outline has been set into position, I'm going to work through the edges and the outlines with a trimmer just to sharpen those lines before cleaning all the hair away underneath on the neck. I'm now applying talcum powder to the neck. The talc absorbs any oil or moisture left on the neck area, and this makes it easier to clean away any excess hairs that have been cut. It also protects the skin from any irritation from the foil shaver. Now this is a dry beard shape up tutorial. We won't be doing a wet shave on the neck in this tutorial. This is a dry and standard beard shape up that we offer in our barbershops. Obviously, if you like to go the extra mile, then at this moment you can apply all the right creams or gels and lubrication on the neck with hot towels, if you wish, before using a wet razor or a straight razor, as some call it, to then remove the final bits of hair. But in this tutorial, we're not going to be doing a wet shave demonstration. We will just be using the foil shaver to remove the finer bits of stubble on the neck, taking it right down to skin and allowing it to be nice and smooth. Here I'm refining the mustache. I'm using the corner of the trimmer to follow the outline of the lip to remove the longer bits of hair from the mustache that connects to the lip. By keeping the corner of the trimmer to the outer line of the lip, this allows us then to keep a more natural finish on the mustache, and it stops us from shaving too far up into the mustache and potentially making the lips look a lot bigger and the mustache a lot thinner. So sticking to the lip gives a nice, natural and more even outline to the mustache. I'm now applying the talcum powder to the neck brush, and I will be dabbing it onto the cheekbone carefully, not to get talc all over the customer's face. Applying the talc in this area will reduce any irritation to the skin as we go over the outlines of the shape up with a cutthroat razor. Now here you can see how I'm applying the blade to the razor. Just showing here now how to position the blade correctly. Being careful, lifting the outer face of the cutthroat over and clicking it into position. The talc will also allow us to keep a sharper outline and will stop us from going too far into the beard. If with gels and wet lubrication we aren't experienced, we could easily shave the beard in and the beard lines down too far. But with talc, it allows you to remove hair off the skin of the cheeks easily, protecting the skin from irritation. But as you reach the body and the fullness of the beard, it'll stop you from shaving down too far, giving you a crisper, sharper outline. The talc doesn't give enough lubrication to remove thick sections of hair, but will allow you to remove light bits of stubble comfortably. And this then allows you to have a more accurate outline, and it will allow you to keep the fullness of the beard in the correct position. It'll also give you a slight white outline on the shape up of the beard, and this makes it easier to cross-check the lines in the mirror to see if the beard shape is in the correct position on both sides. Talc also absorbs any oil and moisture, as previously mentioned, making it easier to remove any hairs that have been shaved away from the customer's face and skin, keeping the whole process really clean and dry with minimal fuss and effort. Also watch how I'm using my opposite hand from the shaving hand to pull tension on the skin, and by creating that tension the blade will glide through the hair more comfortably for the customer, and there's less chance then of causing skin grazing or skin burns by going over soft, more flexible skin. The tighter the skin is, the safer and sharper the shave will be without causing irritation or injury. Halving tension will also allow more accuracy on the outline of the beard. If the skin is flexible and moves in different positions as we shave, there's a very good chance we will not keep clean and accurate lines on the shape-up. Holding the razor and positioning the blade correctly will also ensure a better shave and much less chance of injury. We don't want to raise that blade past 30 to 35 degrees. There's a good chance then that the actual razor inside will cut the customer or cause razor burn. We want to hold the blade flat to the skin and then slightly lifting it at roughly 15 to 20 degrees as we work in gently through the grain of hair. And it's important to not force the blade through, just let the cutthroat do the work itself, but by creating enough tension, it'll make this process a lot easier. We've now come to the end of the beard shape up tutorial. Here you can just see as I do the final touches to the beard, just refining and hovering and skimming over the outside with the scissors, free-handing and removing final stray hairs. And here is the final outcome. You can see on either side how it's sharp, crisp, but holding a natural shape, suiting the customer's face. I hope you've enjoyed. If you have any questions, then please feel free to message me and I do what I can to help.